Much like that. Another run could have changed this if Cleveland could have gotten one on the board, but he didn't give them a sniff.
I was worried about this game, Eck. I really was because, you know, I mean, obviously Beckett was tremendous. I mean, this is like Pedro Martinez stuff when Pedro was in his prime for the Boston Red Sox. But Sabathia out there was better than last time, but still not great. And the Red Sox were not scoring a lot of runs against him, and that had me scared this is going to be a 1 or 2 run ball game and something bad's going to happen at the end. But Beckett would not allow anything bad to happen.
You know, I'm always concerned with Beckett in the first inning, and this came down to the first inning, and he gave up a weak double by Sizemore and a hard hit ball by Cabrera, 2 guys on, and a big double play ball. I think he turned it over, a little fastball, turned it over to Hafner, and he hit a double play up the middle. This was a big out. I mean, a big 2 outs. You can have the run. They tied the score 1-1, but he got out of that first inning. Could have been a lot worse, and it would have put Cleveland in a position to relax a little bit, but this is a huge out, and Hafner's not really swinging the bat all that well this series. He took him deep the first time up, but you see here, he throws the ball 95 miles an hour, but he can turn it over too.
Yeah, exactly, you know, because it looked like in that first inning, you know, if they had any chance at all with a couple of base hits, you know, and they hit the ball pretty hard off him in the first inning, but after, you know, once they got that double play, and what you saw in the double play is Beckett turning over his fastball. He did that a lot tonight, turning it over and getting ground ball outs when he needed them, and that was a big double play. After that, it was lights out. I mean, after that, they had no chance against Josh Beckett.
3 hits in that first inning off Beckett, only 2 hits the other 7 innings he pitched. And again, just not giving them anything. After that, no one would get to scoring position after that first inning.
Well, they had no chance to me. I mean, especially the last part of the lineup. You think Sizemore's got a chance. He throws him a changeup right there. He throws everything. The thing is, I was concerned with he's going to have that breaking ball tonight like he had the last time. You see it there. He had breaking balls. He had the fastball that ran a little bit. He always has his 95 miles an hour. I mean, 11 punch outs and a little over 100 pitches. He did everything. He was in complete command. He got angry at one point because, you know, don't disturb me, because this guy is like, you know, on a mission out there. He got mad at Lofton at some point, but more than anything, 11 punch outs, like you said, Pedro-esque. This guy was nasty.
And I want to correct myself. Casey Blake did get the third. They had men on the corners in the 5th inning. That was really the last chance. And the 5th inning has been sort of what has undone Red Sox pitching, but not tonight. And he, as you said, pitched with emotion. There were a couple of times. Gutierrez early on the 2nd inning threw one up near his head, kind of made a statement there.
Well, what I liked about Beckett is he let the Indians know that we're not going away quietly. He says, I'm here to pitch. I'm here to pitch tough. I'm going to intimidate, which he did by throwing up and in on Gutierrez. That was a purpose pitch. There's no question about that. And then, of course, you had the Lofton thing after. But here's the pitch that goes up and in on Gutierrez, who earlier in the season beat him with a home run. And, you know, Beckett's saying right there, you know, we're not going to roll over and die in this series, at least not while I'm on the mound, and I'm going to play a little hardball, and he certainly did right here as he goes up, you know, around the head. That's good old-fashioned baseball right there.
And you don't see that. I mean,
you don't see that.
Don't see that. With his kind of control, when he does something like that, I mean, obviously that was on purpose.
Of course, sure it was, and I like to see that.
And it was Gutierrez, as you said, hit the home run back in July in a 1-0 game, a loss against Carmona.
Which I don't think had anything to do with him doing that. He wanted to send a message to this Cleveland Indian Ball Club that, look, we're not going to roll over and die here. You still got a team to play. And, of course, as you look back earlier in the season when he hit the home run against him. Yeah,
I think he did it on purpose because of him.
That might have.
If you were going to send a message, you might as well pick the guy who took you deep in a 1-0 game.
But, you know, Tom, to stay with that, he's pitching with tremendous emotion tonight in an elimination game. He's knocking guys down. He's getting in jibber-jabber matches with Lofton, yet he's able to, again, keep his composure and pitch his game with that great breaking ball, the fastball, the changeup, and the turnover
Which
fastball.
is something we've talked about all year. You in the broadcast, us here in the pre- and post game. How much more in control of his emotions he seems to be this year compared to last year?
I mean, because it goes to show you that he can go out of it. I mean, he can lose it for a second. You know, he didn't like it. He didn't like the fact that he dropped his bat on a 3-0 pitch, you know, and then when he popped it up, he yelled something at Lofton right here.
Well, we know what he yelled, but we can't say it.
He can't say what he yelled, but it's, you know,
it's late, but it's not that late.
He doesn't take to anybody doing anything. This guy is, well, he's on a mission. I mean, he just gets upset. I mean, and he just shut it down after this. I thought this was kind of silly on his part when it first happened, because you don't want to do something like that. It's a 2-1 game. You know, don't get off of your, you know, your zone that you're in right now. But he's so good right now that he can just slough this off and get back on the mound and make pitch after pitch after pitch. He doesn't like that right there. You know, you don't mess with Josh when he's, you know, when he's got his game going.
And really, from Lofton's point of view, it wasn't that bad of a thing. I mean, you know, he just dropped the bat, he picked it back up again, but right away Beckett yelled something in, Lofton yelled back. Now Lofton heads back toward the, you know, if he wanted to go after Beckett, he could have right now. He's waiting for somebody to interrupt him, which they did. And Beckett, to his credit, didn't say anything. The umpire told him to be quiet.
There is some history here, too. 2005, we're told, playing for the Phillies, Lofton did the same thing, dropped his bat, sure enough, got him out, the two sides cleared. It was almost exactly the same thing.
Lofton's been doing that his whole career.
Yeah, I mean, when he walks, he does that.
Right.
You know, so I didn't think it was that blatant.
Beckett clearly did in 2005 and again now. But if that's what he's feeding off of, if that's emotion, good for him.
But in a year ago, he wouldn't have been able to handle that. You know, he might have blown up after something like that, but he does those things now, and he gets back on the mound, and he's totally focused on the job he's got to do.
It goes to show you that he's got a chip on his shoulder. At any given time,
he's
that
wired.
chip just goes off.
Well, listen, he's the only Red Sox starter to go more than 4 2/3 in this series, and right now, if they can come back and win this thing, he's got to be the MVP of this thing. He is so far. He has been phenomenal this postseason, even better than he was during a 20-win regular season.
Well, the numbers are ridiculous. I mean, what is he? One walk and 26 strikeouts, a 3-0 record. I mean, those are incredible numbers. And when I mentioned Pedro Martinez, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Different styles, but the same type of numbers.
And that makes you think, you know, if he had went on the 4th day or whatever it was, 3 days rest, would he have been as sharp? I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, you never want to go back, but this guy's throwing the ball as well as he's did all year, I think. He's on top of his game. That curveball is nasty. I mean, I yet to see. I mean, he maybe have rolled one and they took it, but he didn't hang anything, you know, and his fastball is like lights out anywhere he wants to do with it.
Well, the other thing about his curveball, not only is it tough on right-handers, but he's freezing left-handed hitters on it, and that's not easy to do. So, I mean, it's spectacular right now. It's that 12-6 curveball with a good bite to it, and, you know, you mix it in with all his other pitches. I mean, and when you're not walking anybody like he's doing, I mean, this guy right now is almost impossible to hit.
They don't know what he's going to throw. He starts you off with a hook for a strike, and you're just like, now what are you going to? What are you going to look for? Because you have to look for his fastball because he throws so hard, and he can do anything he wants. He's got a changeup. He can turn it over. I mean, this guy is the full deal, and he's been doing it all year.
Well, I want to look at it just because they're telling me we have it. This is 2005 when he was pitching against Kenny Lofton. This was in the National League. Now, of course, Josh Beckett pitching for the Florida Marlins and Kenny Lofton batting for the Philadelphia Phillies. And so there's the drop of the bat. And again, you see the stare from Beckett. In this case, it was actually a walk. He actually walked and didn't like the way he dropped the bat.
He reminds me of Nolan Ryan because it don't tick off Nolan. I mean, it took the the little things that Nolan didn't like, and if he didn't like that, next time up, he's going to drill you.
Yeah, Roger Clemens.
Playoff or not.
They're all from Texas.
Yeah, it's this Texas thing.
Well, you know, and it stands out even more now because fewer and fewer pitchers pitch that way, handle themselves that way on the mound. Now, the question is, does this, we said in the pregame show, the Red Sox can win this game tonight, that the pressure turns on the Indians. Is that what happens now as they have a travel day? They got to pack up. They got to come to Boston.
Yeah, the last thing they wanted to do was lose this game and come back to Boston and play, you know, maybe 2 games at Fenway Park. They've still got a very good pitcher going out there the next time at Carmona, but the fact is Carmona is probably the most nervous guy in the world right now, and the last thing he wanted to do was go back and pitch in a place where he didn't pitch well the first time. So, you know, who knows? Momentum, I don't know. You know, it's always as good as the next day's start. If Carmona comes out and stinks like he did in the first game, the Red Sox are in good shape, and we'll see what Schilling's got to offer on that night.
I guarantee you, Cleveland did not want to go back to Boston. No. I'm sure a couple guys made that vocal because, I mean, I know I wouldn't want to come back to Boston, whether I'm pitching or not, because this crowd's going to be into this game, and Carmona's going to feel it. There's no doubt about it. And the guy like Schilling couldn't have a better guy out there. Now, whether he comes through or not, I don't know, but it's the right guy to have on that hill. Because with the pressure of Fenway Park.
And even though they're down 3 games to 2, Schilling will be more relaxed going into that game than Carmona will be.
Well, yeah, and he's been there and done that much more than Carmona. The Red Sox are such a better offensive team. They had a nice offensive night tonight, but they're a better offensive team at Fenway Park. It's always been that way here.
Yeah, they were a better offensive team in the second half of the game. They made, you know, they scared me early in the game. They had a lot of opportunities. They let go by the board.
Through 5 innings, 12 hitters, 12 batters in the Red Sox lineup had reached base, and they only had 2 runs. It started to feel like a game that they were going to really regret those missed opportunities.
The biggest one Sabathia, you know, got out of was Lowell hitting a foul ball, double, would have cleared the bases. That would have opened the game up right there. I think it was the 5th inning with 2 outs, and Ramirez and Ortiz were on.
That ball was just like foul by about 2 inches.
I thought that Sabathia was very, very lucky tonight to even get to the point that he did. This is a huge. When this ball went foul, I said, I think the baseball gods are against the Red Sox at this point, and I'm glad they won this game big because you look back at that foul ball right there if they lost this game.
Well, the other positive thing, too, tonight about the offense is Pedroia had a couple of hits. Youkilis did a great job, you know, the 1 and 2 guys. That set up Ortiz for a couple of RBIs. Manny continues to scorch the ball. So, I mean, they got more guys involved in the offense. Still struggles down at the bottom of the lineup. but at least they got Pedroia and Youkilis tonight back hitting the ball and getting on base.
And Ellsbury came in the game late, and everyone in the broadcast, as we said in the pregame show, if Coco Crisp struggled tonight in a win, you probably see Ellsbury. I would think we're going to see Jacoby Ellsbury.
I don't like when those national guys steal our stuff.
Well, they
had to be watching.
And Barber really stuck his neck out and said, I think Ellsbury will start on Saturday night in Fenway Park. Boy, that's a stretch.
He might have said it twice.
Yeah.
They scored 7 runs on the night, 5 of the runs coming from the 7th inning on. And that's a big difference. You talk about the clutch late inning offense. That's what they got done tonight. That's good news for Terry Francona. He just sat down at the podium. Let's join him live.
Terry, we know Josh Beckett's always pretty good, but what does it say about him when he's really at his best, when his team needs him the most?
I think it says a lot about him, and we've leaned on him all year. I thought early he was up in the first inning, and then once he settled down, started establishing that breaking ball, he really became the guy, the dominant pitcher that we rely on so much. We gave up, 3 hits in the first, and then the Blake line drive and the infield single, that's all he gave up. It's pretty good.
In the back on the aisle.
Terry, how encouraged were you by the late rallies being generated by guys outside your big 3?
Well, very encouraged. And you know, we really did a good job getting runners on base early, but we didn't do a whole lot with it. But we stayed at it and finally cashed in, and yeah, we had good at-bats.
Peter, back there.
We probably know the answer to this one, but I got to ask it anyway. How tough a decision was it for you to not let Beckett finish the whole thing with the groove that he was in?
Oh, no, that wasn't tough. We actually had Okajima up and Pap in the 8th. Pap hadn't pitched in 4 days. Okie had pitched 2 days ago, so no, that was an easy decision. Pap needed to pitch the 9th.
Okay, Bill.
Youkilis did not have a great second half numbers-wise, and he got hurt near the end. I mean, it's just a question of a hitter reaching his level now. Is he doing something different or something better than he did in the second half?
I think some of the aches and pains go away. Uke has really taken some good swings and had some real good at-bats. I think the way Uke plays, he can somewhat wear down at times. Maybe, and again, maybe the wrist injury when he got hit, maybe it's a blessing in disguise after it's all said and done. I don't think it was at the time, but I think some of his aches and pains go away, and his bat speed looks like it's where it was at the beginning of the year.
On the aisle there, Terry.
Terry, what was your take on Manny's very long single, and what did the ump say to you?
You know what? The hard thing is there's so much emotion, and when you think you have another run, they hustled, they talked about it, and from my understanding, even on replays, it's a little bit hard to distinguish. So seeing it live and happening quick like that, I think there's a point as a manager where you don't care if it's right, you want the run.
Couple more, Kenny.
Terry, what have you guys been able to figure out against CC Sabathia? He wins 19 games in the regular season, and 2 starts here. You guys have beaten him both times.
I don't know that it's figuring out. I mean, you try to stay with a consistent approach against every pitcher, and there's some games that CC's thrown this year that I'm not sure it matters who it is. He's going to throw that 9-inning complete game just because he's so good, but we've had a very consistent approach and didn't abandon it. Even tonight, like when we didn't get a bunt down, didn't score, but we didn't abandon that approach and start trying to do too much, and we got rewarded for it.
One last one, if there's anything. Okay, Kevin. Thank you. Thanks, Terry.
To the brilliance of Beckett.
All right, that was Terry Francona at the podium after the Red Sox pick up the win. So they take 1 out of the 3 games in Cleveland, and they bring the series back to Boston. Down 3-2, but playing at Fenway Saturday night. We'll go back to the podium right now. Check in with Kevin Youkilis.
Facing elimination like you guys were, Kevin, I mean, to hit that home run, I mean, did the team get a big lift right off the bat when you came back into the dugout? I mean, did you feel the mood of the team change at all?
Yeah, I think getting ahead was a huge factor for us in this game. I think getting the confidence and all the players getting that first run, ahead is huge for this team. And knowing when Josh Beckett's on the mound, we know that maybe that one run could be all we need in a game. And I think a lot of guys were pretty pumped up to get on top, and it's definitely it eases a lot of people's minds, and it was great. But we also knew that that one run, we had to get more than that in this game, because this Indians offense is pretty good offense, and they can come back. So for us, we just had to go inning by inning and try to get as many runs as we could.
In the last row, Kevin. Tim?
Kevin, what's it like playing behind Josh Beckett when he's got it going again tonight?
It's definitely exciting to watch. It's definitely fun to go out there and play behind a guy that can dominate a game, and it definitely is a little more relaxing when you're out there on the field, because when you see balls that guys are taking that are moving, you can see Veritek sets off the dish just a little bit and he hits that corner, and guys are taking because they just don't see it that well. And it's great just to have him go out there and pitch the way he does, because it eases us as hitters knowing that we don't have to try to do too much at the plate.
All right, that's Kevin Youkilis. We'll take a break, come back. Hope to hear from Josh Beckett live at the podium in just a bit, so stay with us as the Red Sox win this game and they force a Game 6 at Fenway.
Coverage of Terry Francona's press conference is brought to you by Sullivan Tire. Always here to get you there.
Baffled by a strange disease that stretches the arms of people buying copy paper at office superstores, scientists at the W.B. Mason Institute studying the problem shocked the world by announcing a cure.
Free same-day delivery.
Call 1-888-WB-MASON by 11. Your copy paper will be delivered by 5. Now, a happy ending is well within reach.
Oh, but W.B. Mason.
Well, it's certainly been exciting and a lot of late nights. And now we're in the final days of the season.
Elliot, what's going on with the monster deal?
Well, we're all cheering for the Sox to win, and I'm sure many of you, nearly 30,000, are waiting to cash in on the monster deal. So keep rooting and cheering and praying. Wear your Sox stuff and sing Tessie to your best friend, and do just whatever it takes. Go Sox!
Wow, this could have been a huge moment in this game, as Manny Ramirez, who was in the crosshairs of everyone in Cleveland. It seemed all the media, all the fans thought this was a homer. A lot of people thought this was a homer. It wasn't. It was a single, and it looked like, you hate to say this if you're a Red Sox fan, but it looked like they got the call right.
Yeah, I think so too. Manny's at home plate. I don't think Manny thought this ball was gone when he came out of the box. I know he always takes a long time, but when he got to first base, he just sort of stopped. And at first look, he was thinking it hit something hard, because why would it bounce so high? But because it came back into the field, I think that had a lot to do with their decision.
Yeah, I think the umpires did get this one right, and I think the last shot was the very best shot you could get of that. You could clearly see it hitting the top of the yellow, because the yellow is part of the ballpark. Right. It's in play, and the ball bounced back into play. Obviously, it bounces the other way. It's a home run. But I think they did get this one right.
The yellow on the top of those walls, it's like the foul pole, which is fair. If it hits it, it's fair. And this is the specific wording of the Jacobs Field ground rules. A fair batted ball that travels over the yellow line on top of the outfield wall on the fly is a home run. The key word in all that, over. And it looked like this hit the yellow as opposed to over the yellow.
Well, if I have a question about that, why would they have the yellow on top of the wall? That's the thing that kind of is weird about this whole thing. I mean, it should be flat up there, and if, of course, it hits the top of the wall, it's a home run. But that's a good shot right there that you can clearly see it bounce and bounce back into the ballpark.
But that's a great point, because it does look like it hits the top of that pad. Sort of squashed it down and bounced back, which you would think would not be yellow, because you would think the very top would be beyond the yellow stripe.
You wouldn't think the ball would bounce that high off of that cushion, because that yellow is soft for the most part, isn't it? I mean,
but I think it hit the wall behind the yellow and sort of exploded back off that.
Right. So I'm thinking at that point right there, anytime that two-run home run, that game's over, because the way Beckett was throwing, I had this feeling that if they could just get even one run would be good enough, and all of a sudden, boom, 2 runs with 2 outs was a beautiful thing.
But for 5 innings, we showed that Lowell foul ball that was just foul. For 5 innings, it felt like this was going to be a game of missed opportunities and that they might lose this game. Beckett was the only reason they didn't fall behind through those first 6 innings.
Yeah, it was a total mismatch between Beckett and CC Sabathia, but the Red Sox couldn't put CC away early enough in this ball game, and he hung around. They just couldn't get runs. Crisp had a chance to bunt some guys over, couldn't get the job done. So there were a lot of missed opportunities by the Red Sox, and you just didn't have a good feeling in the middle of this game.
But Terry was right. They didn't change their pattern, if you think about it. They didn't leave that pattern. I mean, they kept taking pitches, and he kept running counts full. I mean, deep counts. He's lucky he got Kelty out with the bases loaded on a 3-2 pitch because he was missing up and away
they could
galore.
have broken it wide open. Then they finally did catch a break, and it's our W.B. Mason delivery of the game. It was the Kevin Youkilis triple, as it turns off, and looked like maybe a little bit of miscommunication out there in the outfield. Grady Sizemore kind of thought that Gutierrez was going to get it. Gutierrez kind of pulled up, and by the time Sizemore turned the Jets back on, it was off his glove. That was a triple. It drove in a run. Red Sox had a little bit of breathing room. Okay, we're going to go back. We're not going to go back. We're going to take a break and come back with more after this.
With a WB Mason Gold Star delivery, anything less than perfection just won't do. Gold Star drivers are trained to work miracles to deliver your office supplies the very next day at amazingly low prices without back orders or short shipments. Call 1-888-WB-MASON if something's missing from your office supply delivery.
Who are those wonderful people?
Who but WB Mason?
Just how new is the all-new 2008 Accord? Well, we could tell you about its more powerful, more fuel-efficient engine, or the addition of race-inspired suspension for superior handling. We could also mention that it's been totally redesigned with a larger, more comfortable cabin and all the engineering and safety features you'd expect from Honda. But we think it would be more fun if you discover these things for yourself. The all-new Accord from Honda.
First 8-speed automatic transmission. The LS, unprecedented. At your Lexus dealer.
Soxtober on NESN is presented by Jordan's Furniture, the official furniture store of the Boston Red Sox.
And a lot of people still might end up getting free furniture because the Red Sox did not let the Indians clinch it tonight. CC Sabathia facing Josh Beckett, a rematch of the pitching matchup from Game 1. Beckett won that one. He would win this one. We talked at the beginning, guys, about getting out to a good start. Kevin Youkilis puts him up top. First time they score first in this series.
Well, Kevin Youkilis has been hitting some home runs in postseason play, and of course that was very big in the first inning to give the Red Sox the lead in the ball game and help everybody relax a little bit. Youkilis gets that Sabathia fastball middle in, hooks it, roll over swing, and gives the Red Sox a very quick lead in the game.
And Josh Beckett, with that lead, comes out in the first inning, gives up 3 hits, and this is a huge double play.
It's a great pitch because, normally in the first inning you don't bring out everything you got, but he brought it out against Hafner. He threw him a turnover fastball, which is a good time for it. Got a double play, the biggest play of the game for him.
And it tied the game at 1. They would retake the lead on, what do they call it, a 390-foot single? Well, that's what it was because it drove in David Ortiz, and Manny was stuck at first, but it was the right call. It was not a home run. Nonetheless, Manny continues to swing the hot bat.
He does, and the strange thing about this play is that when that ball was hit, I think Manny thought it was an out. And he didn't run, which he never runs anyway, but I mean, he thought that was a fly ball out. That ball just carried and carried and carried. And you're right, he should have been standing on second base regardless. But the fact is, that's the longest single in Major League history, baby.
And it ends up being an RBI, and they'll take it. Meantime, Josh Beckett, now he's in a groove. He's unhittable.
Oh, this guy, I mean, Cabrera right there didn't know what to think. He had set him up, and he set him up for a fastball away. He was so late on that fastball. He makes people look so bad when he punches them out.
And he got Cabrera there. He gets Ryan Garco here on a foul tip to end the 6th. 11 strikeouts shutouts on the night, but it's still a tight game. Still 2-1 all the way to the 7th inning. And then that Kevin Youkilis triple breaks it open. This comes after a Pedroia double, and the top of the order did produce some opportunities tonight.
Yeah, this is Gutierrez's fault here. That's his ball, the right fielder. Now, even though the center fielder was a take charge guy, he had no chance at that, and he's kept looking and looking at his right field, saying, where are you going? And all of a sudden, he's nowhere to be found, so now he's going to dive for the ball and can't make the play. A nice effort by Sizemore, but that's Gutierrez's ball. He backed off, and he should have made that play easy.
Red Sox finally get a little breathing room. 2 runs in that inning. The bullpen, which was so good for the Indians up to now, not so good tonight, Ed.
No, this guy, Matthew, he did a nice job when he came over. A big game he pitched, got the 3 big outs in Boston, but he couldn't do it tonight. You know, the game was over as it was anyway. This is just sort of icing to the cake, I guess.
And Josh Beckett, when it's all said and done, 8 innings of work, 5 hits, 1 run. He strikes out 11 over 109 pitches. And then Josh Beckett hands it over to Jonathan Papelbon, who takes care of business. Papelbon needed some work. They need to get him in this game, and they did. He gets an inning of work. Jonathan Papelbon will now be ready to come back in, no doubt, this weekend.
Well, you definitely want to get him some work. Luckily, that ball doesn't go out of the ballpark just because it's just so he doesn't lose his confidence a little bit. But for the most part, you know, you can't go a week without throwing, and he did the job. Gave up 1 hit, but Beckett, man, what an outing. This guy has been lights out. Hopefully, they win the whole thing, and this guy is the MVP of the playoffs right here, I would assume.
Now we'll talk about that.
Here.
Long way to go. We'll talk about that. 12 hits tonight, so it's all good tonight in Cleveland. The Red Sox do get to bring it home to Fenway Park, where they played so well this year. You see Dustin Pedroia with a couple of hits tonight. Julio Lugo with a hit down at the bottom of the order. So you can see that 8 of the 9 starters had a hit tonight. J.D. Drew also had a hit. So we talked about the offense needing to be spread out a little bit tonight. It was, Ram.
Yeah, it was. And, you know, especially the guys at the top, Pedroia and Youkilis, you know, you have to get those guys on base. You can't have Ortiz, Ramirez, and Lowell doing it all by themselves. And you know, tonight to see Pedroia get on base a couple of times. He did hit the ball hard the last game out. But, you know, it just sets the tone for everybody else. And there's still guys struggling. I mean, Coco Christ on the bottom struggling. Veritek is struggling down at the bottom. Lugo, the bunt, was a man at first and second bunt base hit a play I don't like. But, you know, he's trying to get something going, trying to get a bunt. But the fact is, you know, it's a much better offensive performance tonight. It was nice to see because they have struggled against guys they shouldn't be struggling against.
And there's the story of the pitching. Beckett 8 innings. Papelbon gets that inning in the 9th. Let's go back and hear the Cleveland manager, Eric Wedge, after the game.
How good was Beckett tonight?
He was good. I mean, he's pitched real good. Obviously, both times we've seen him. Where my disappointment lied was with just lack of adjustments in our hitters. You know, we just saw him 4 or 5 days ago, and not to take anything away from Beckett because he was very good, but you know, we were in between all night long. And when you've got somebody throwing against you like that with that type of stuff, you can't live in between. You've got to make some decisions. You've got to take some risks. You've got to take some chances and get after it. And we never did that tonight.
Dave?
Because of that, the Red Sox bring this series home. Looked like all the breaks were going against the Red Sox in this game, but in the end, the breaks started going their way as they battle through. They grind it out, and they win this one 7-1.
This is going to be the event that defines the whole season. Oh, yeah! You got it. Chevy Truck Month,
where you'll get 0% financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers on the 2007 Tahoe, Suburban, and Trailblazer. That's right. Get 0% financing for 60 months for an average finance savings of $73.34 on an 07 Chevy Suburban.
Get the Chevy Truck Month by October 31st.
See for yourself. Shop and compare at NewEnglandChevyDealers.com.
Have you seen our trucks? These are the trucks that can save your business money. Mechanical Services has been maintaining and improving the heating and air conditioning needs of businesses in Maine since 1957. Whether your business uses oil, gas, or electricity, it's a simple equation. More energy efficient equipment equals more money for your business. Call us for a free evaluation and look for the white trucks with the big red M for Mechanical Services. We can save you money.
Get the vehicle you want and save thousands with Varney Value from Varney Buick Pontiac GMC. Save $4,000 on 08 Buick Lucerne CX, V6 automatic with driver confidence package, OnStar navigation, and more, just $23,990. Save over $5,000 on 2008 4-wheel drive GMC Sierra Extended Cab, V8 automatic work truck package with air, cargo management, and more, just $21,990. Varney Value from Varney Buick Pontiac GMC, Hogan Road, Bangor.
Extra Innings is brought to you by WB Mason and their new What a Bargain Super Clearance Center, where you can save up to 75% on office furniture and equipment. Located at 647 Summer Street in Boston, across from the Boston Athletic Center.
All right, Saturday on NESN, we're going to get you started early, just like tonight. 5:30 is our pregame baseball coverage. We'll go for an hour, hand it off to our Bruins pregame coverage and the hockey games here on NESN. After the Bruins game, post-game coverage from the TD Bank North Garden as they take on the Rangers. And then after the baseball game, after the final out, just like tonight, come on back and join us as we wrap up Game 6. The Red Sox fans are hoping we preview Game 7, but we will have a Game 6. Let's go back and hear from Big Papi.
Day for Josh.
Definitely. We have a lot of confidence in Josh, and I'm pretty sure the rest of our pitching staff gonna put it together just like he did.
It looks like the offense starting to turn the corner again.
Definitely, man. You know, like when we have the little guys getting on base, it's a whole totally different situation. You know, and we have the little guys on base, and the middle of the lineup come to hit, pressure on the pitcher.
How do you feel about Kurt on Saturday?
Feel good. Kurt's a big stage pitcher. He know how to handle it. He know how to do things. So hopefully everything goes well.
Is there comfort because there's so many guys, 8 guys from the 2004, Beckett and Lowell from 2003 have come back from 3-1s. Is there comfort in that?
Oh, definitely. We always have confidence. Doesn't matter what the situation is.
Is the momentum shifted right now? Do you feel it?
Hopefully. We're doing good. We went out there and play hard like we normally do, and we won. So let's take that home.
All right, David Ortiz holding court after the game. And, you know, there are, I mean, you're talking about 9 guys who have been through this before. That's got to mean something. I know it's all about your pitching. Tonight it was all about Beckett, but there has to be some confidence. If you were a young team going through this, there'd have to be, you know, you talked about the nerves and what goes through a mind of a player who's facing elimination. Having done this before has to at least mitigate that a little bit.
Well, I think more than anything, it's the Cleveland side of this thing. I don't think they've had anybody in this situation, especially the guys going to the mound, and Carmona in particular, next start. I think that's the thing. You know, it's great that the Red Sox have experience, but the bigger thing is that Cleveland doesn't.
And I think the biggest thing is going back to Fenway Park. I mean, there's such a comfort level for the Red Sox at Fenway Park and such an uncomfortable feeling for the opposing team in Fenway Park that, I mean, you know, obviously huge to get the win to keep the series going, but to get to go back home now, I think is terrific. And, you know, the Indians have to be feeling it. They have to be.
Well, you remember in 2004, we talked about if you can get the series back to Yankee Stadium, just the whole idea of carrying it on and moving it to another ballpark adds pressure to the team that had a chance to put it away. And now you can see the numbers. Now you're coming home, so it's even a bigger deal.
Yeah, and you know, you mentioned, you know, the 2004. I think the difference was that, you know, the Red Sox at that point, they had given up on the series. They were congratulating the Yankees, and all of a sudden you win one, you win another one. There's not that feeling this year. This year, they feel that they can come back.
Well, they're supposed to win this
They're supposed to win it. And you mentioned all the guys that have been through this before. On Cleveland, it's you only got Trot Nixon over there who's really not even playing, and Kenny Lofton's been in many postseason games.
But that's it.
But that's it. There's nobody else.
All right, Manny Ramirez, we didn't think he'd talk tonight. Let's go back and hear what Manny said after the game in Cleveland.
I got a lot of confidence in my teammates, man. We try, like I said, we try to play hard every day. We leave everything on the field. Whatever happened, and that's it.
Thank you, Manny. Thank you.
Single off the top of the wall. You obviously thought that was out. Yeah, I thought it was out, but what can I say?
Man, is it nice to see the offense come around, put up a big number today?
Hey, we got confidence in our teammates. Hey, we got a lot of confidence in our offense, man. And we know we're gonna come through, you know. So we got a lot of patience, and that's it. We made it happen today. We're happy that we're gonna take this to Boston, and we're gonna see what happens.
Kurt Schilling on Saturday. How do you feel about that?
Well, it feels good. You know, it's gonna be good competition out there, him and Carmona. But you never know what's gonna happen. Let's go and wait, and then we talk about it.
All right, Manny was holding court in the clubhouse. Now Josh Beckett's live at the podium.
You know, you give up a blue pit, and you know they manufacture a run, and you know it's part of the deal. It's yeah, it was tough because you know we came out and scored a run in the first. Obviously, want to go out there and shut them down.
Ian, over here.
you know, with the team facing elimination, how satisfying was it for you to pitch like you did tonight, and how kind of locked in did you feel as the game went on?
I felt good. You know, this is, you know, like I always say, it's easy when you got everything going. You know, and once again, I had great defense, and you know, I held them off just long enough for us to put up some runs. So, you know, like I said, it was a team effort. We made it pretty easy on ourselves. We know what we have to do now. We have to win.
Josh, along those lines, I mean, you pitched a big game in Yankee Stadium, you know, 3. You're back here at another visitor's ballpark, and you pitched a big game. How hard is that to do in somebody else's ballpark?
I don't know that it's any more difficult or any easier when you're at home or whatnot. You know, it's just basically comes down to the same thing no matter where you're playing. If you're playing in the backyard with your buddies, you know, it comes down to executing pitches. You know, and you know, they hit it at some guys. Guys make some great plays and score enough runs to win.
Ian again?
Josh, do you feel physically like you could give this team a couple innings if this thing gets to a Game 7, you know, out of the bullpen or, you know, whatever?
You know, we'll delve into that later. You know, I don't, obviously, I'm preparing myself, you know, for them to ask me that. And, you know, as of right now, yeah, I think that would be something I could do.
On the aisle?
Josh, what happened with you and Kenny? Was it just was it the flip in the bat that kind of set you off, or?
Yeah, you know, it has a lot of stuff. You know, it kind of goes back before today. You know, those things have a way of working themselves out, though.
Kenny?
Josh, from the first time you faced them, did you do anything different tonight, or was it the same game plan, same approach, and were you surprised if it was they didn't make many adjustments?
They got a good lineup. I mean, there ain't no way you're going to face somebody 7 days after facing them before if you don't make some adjustments and not give up some runs. You know, I definitely made some adjustments. You know, Jason, you know, went along with the game plan, and you know, it worked out. You know, they hit some balls at some guys. You know, that's about it.
2 more? Yeah.
Were you bothered at all the fact that they had somebody who used to do the national anthem, or did you not even pay any attention to that?
I don't get paid to make those fucking decisions. That's, you know, she's a friend of mine. That doesn't bother me at all. Thanks for flying one of my friends to the game so she could watch it for free.
1 more? Ian, last question.
How good do you feel having a guy like Schilling on the mound for the next game, just with all the big games that you know, he's pitched in his career?
Yeah, we're excited to get back to Boston. You know, it's definitely going to be a better flight than it would have been if we'd have went down losing. You know, this is you know, not where we want to be, but you know, obviously we're inching closer to where we want to be. You know, and we're kind of the motto in the clubhouse right now is it's better to die on your feet than live on your knees.
Thanks. Safe trip home.
And again, that was Josh Beckett. There's a live post-game coverage. We have no control over what's said in the press conference. We will take a break and come back with more after this.
Show your support for the home team during the playoffs. The latest MLB gear is available now at Olympia Sports.
You know, this has to be my favorite time of the year. That's right, it's Chevy Truck Month.
Now get 0% financing for 60 months for well-qualified buyers on all 07 Silverado regular half-ton extended cabs. Get 0% APR for 60 months for well-qualified buyers for an average finance savings of $6,036 on any 07 Silverado half-ton extended cab model.
Hey, don't miss out. Get the Chevy Truck Month by October 31st.
See for yourself. Shop and compare at NewEnglandChevyDealers.com.
I will raise you 4 cheese puffs. $20. Whoa. Cheese puffs are 5? I thought they were 1.
No, man, cheese puffs are 5. They're always 5.
Well, then what are the ones?
The pretzels are the ones.
I thought pretzels were snacks.
Oh, what? Come on, man, there are no snacks.
Well, and what have I been eating?
The 10s, George. You've been eating the 10s.
There's a better place to play. Foxwoods Resort Casino, home of the only poker room in New England. Check out the action at foxwoods.com.
If you want more for just $8.88, I've got the comfort and my look is great. I've got the comfort and the wood trim, you see. So if you want more, someone, no, by me. More, that's what Bob's giving. More, down the line. Look for more elsewhere and you will find Bob's gonna beat 'em every time. More.
Back here in our NESN HD Television Center with your Sports Desk update. Hi, everybody. I'm Hazel May. Lots more coming your way tonight on Sports Desk, presented by FW Webb. Home of Frank Webb's Bath Center is a trusted part of your home remodeling team. We've got full highlights and reaction from the Bruins home opener at the Garden. Is Lawrence Maroney finally ready to suit up? You'll hear from the Patriots running back. And Joe Torre stands up to the boss. We've got reaction on his decision not to return to the Bronx. All that, we're going to need your help in selecting our Person of the Week. The Sports Desk team will await your arrival. See you immediately following the postgame show. Back next door now to Tom Karen.
Hazel, thank you very much. We'll take a break, come back. Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra. We'll hear the rest of Manny's press conference or his meeting with the media in the clubhouse. We'll have Terry's take with Tita Servasio and a preview of Game 6 because Curt Schilling will be taking the mound Saturday against Fausto Carmona. It's all coming up.
Well, it's certainly been exciting and a lot of late nights. And now we're in the final days of the season.
Elliot, what's going on with the monster deal?
Well, we're all cheering for the Sox to win, and I'm sure many of you, nearly 30,000, are waiting to cash in on the monster deal. So keep rooting and cheering and praying. Wear your Sox stuff and sing Tessie to your best friend and do just whatever it takes. Go Sox!
Mr. Francona, what do you look for in a player?
5 tools: speed, throwing, playing the field, hitting for average, and power.
I can hit for power. Wow, I hit over the Sullivan Tire sign.
You drove it out of the whole ballpark.
At Sullivan Tire, we're always here to get you there.
You always get me there, Paul.
Hey, Mom.
Hey, Julie, I need you home by 5, okay?
Mom, I think it's breaking up.
Honey, you have the Verizon network.
Maybe it's on your end.
No, we have the Verizon network at home now, too.
Mom, there's bears here.
See you at 5.
Bears?
Get Verizon home phone and wireless service together with unlimited calls between your wireless and home phone starting at $59.99. Double the reliability, double the value. Verizon. The Bruins are on NESN.
NESN HD Television Center. Tom Karen with you here for Granite City Electric's Extra Innings Extra. And it'll go on a little extra. This series will continue Saturday at Fenway Park. Saturday night will be Game 6. And it'll be Curt Schilling, who's got a little Game 6 history, of course, here in Boston with the Red Sox. Curt Schilling taking them out for the second time against the team in a best-of-7 series. He has done this before. It'll be the 6th time he faces a team, the 2nd time in a series. And he has never lost one of those games. 3-0 lifetime in those games, including, of course, one against the Yankees in 2004 in the ALCS. And you all know what happened in 2004. Curt Schilling trying to make something magical happen here in 07.
Force our bullpen into a situation that's bordering on unwinnable. 5th inning, you're asking your bullpen to come in and throw up zeros against that team for however long it was going to take, and that's just not fair to them. This was all about me coming up small in a big game.
That was Curt Schilling after his last start. Didn't talk to the media today. We'll probably do it tomorrow on the workout at Fenway Park. It'll be Curt Schilling against Fausto Carmona. You see his numbers against the Red Sox. You see Schilling's career numbers in the postseason, and you've had one good one and one not so good one from Curt Schilling. They need a good one now Saturday.
Well, this, to me, he got lucky. It's a redeemer. He gets a chance to redeem himself. So it seems like it's in the stars for him to have to pitch this game. Everybody thought it might have been his last start at Fenway Park. Well, he gets a reprieve. He gets to do it again. And you see those numbers, the second start, almost incredible. 40 innings, 40 and 4 earned runs. That's like less than 0. So, you know, the odds are in his favor, I guess.
And last time around, they got to Carmona. It was way after that where the trouble began.
Yeah, you know, when you looked at their first 2 starters in Sabathia and Carmona, you figured, you know, one of these guys is going to come up big for him. I didn't expect it to go this way at all. CC's been bad in both starts, not quite as bad tonight as his first start. And Carmona, you know, I mean, this guy was one of the best pitchers in the league. Is he going to throw up another bomb like he did last time out? I mean, you just don't know. Last time out with that sinking fastball, he could not control it. He was all over the place, walking guys, and you know, he generally walks 4 guys in Sabathia, and he was walking guys again that night. So, I mean, you know, what's he going to bring to the table? We don't know.
And all our hitters already, you heard Uke was already talking about him tonight after the game with Nationally, and said he's already ready for Carmona. He pitches to one side of the plate, he has a little slider, and this guy's going to have to go out there and throw strikes. He had trouble out of the bullpen. I know it's no big deal 2 years ago, or last year or whatever, and had no control. And you saw his last start against the Red Sox, he had no control. And I'll tell you what, this is huge. He's going to be uptight. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah, their game plan is going to be the exact same thing as the first time. You got to make the ball up, get it out over the plate, and you know, and take those nasty sinkers that he throws down and in.
Well, they obviously worked it very well last time around. By the way, it is past midnight. The clock has struck October 19th now. It is 3 years ago today that Curt Schilling pitched Game 6 against the New York Yankees with the Red Sox, and we know what happened that night. So this guy has stepped it up at the biggest stages in the past.
He's big in Game 6, so he gets another chance.
Well, again, you know, I like the experience out there, and I know that, you know, he's not going to be phased. I mean, he's going to be Curt Schilling. He's going to go out there, and he's going to have to be perfect with hitting his spots with his fastball like every other start that he makes.
All right, Schilling against Carmona. That's Saturday night. The reason we're talking about it is because the Red Sox win tonight to continue this series. Let's go back and hear from Terry Francona. It's Terry's Take with Tina Cervasio.
Josh Beckett now 3-0 in the postseason for the Red Sox, and Terry 8 innings with the 11 strikeouts. How is his fastball command really the basis of his success?
Well, it always is, but after he got through the first inning and he was elevating his fastball, he started really throwing that breaking ball, and he kind of got in a groove and really did exactly what we needed.
How important was it the way that Josh reacted after the Lofton incident in the 5th inning, was able to get out of the jam?
That wasn't, nothing was going to happen there. I went for Beckett because I just want to make sure he didn't lose his focus. Not that nothing's going to happen in a situation like that.
How did this lineup effectively manufacture runs versus Sabathia today?
Well, in the beginning we really didn't. You know, we made opportunities and we didn't cash in on them, but we kept after him and really did a good job. Because he got comfortable for a couple innings. We started using his changeup, and it really helped his effectiveness. But we stayed after him and finally cashed in.
All right, Terry. Thank you.
Sox cashed in, and Manny Ramirez, another big night at the plate. Had this long single off the top of the wall in the 3rd inning and an RBI to show for it. Had a couple of hits and a walk tonight. We will hear the rest of Manny's conversation with the media when we come back.
Granite City Electric. We do the lights for the Red Sox.
Well, it's certainly been exciting and a lot of late nights. And now we're in the final days of the season.
Elliot, what's going on with the monster deal?
Well, we're all cheering for the Sox to win, and I'm sure many of you, nearly 30,000, are waiting to cash in on the monster deal. So keep rooting and cheering and praying. Wear your Sox stuff and sing Tessie to your best friend and do just whatever it takes. Go Sox!
Bluetooth hands-free link, MP3 connectivity, ELS surround sound. All the luxuries of the modern world to go. The Acura TL. Acura. Advance.
Take advantage of attractive lease rates on the 2008 Acura TL for well-qualified customers.
Locker Room Uncut is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers. October is truck month at your New England Chevy dealers. Visit newenglandchevydealers.com today.
You never know what's going to happen. Let's go and wait, and then we talk about that.
I feel like the pressure has shifted from this clubhouse to the
Hey,
everybody want to know where's the funeral?
Hey, this is my new tie. I'm trying to take this tie to Colorado.
Okay.
You're having fun with this, aren't you, huh?
Hey, like I said, we don't got nothing to lose. Whatever happened, happened.
No pressure in this clubhouse, Manny?
No pressure, man. Like I said, we play hard. We try to leave everything on the field, and that's it.
Manny, how enjoyable was it to watch Beckett do what he did tonight?
Hey, that's why he's not number one starter. We got full confidence on him.
What made him so good?
Hey, he got his breaking ball working, his fastball, you know, that guy is unhittable.
Manny, ¿pensaste que era un jonrón ese batazo que dice?
Sí, pensaba, sí, pero gracias a Dios tú sabes que las cosas van a pasar cuando conviene y no convenía ese jonrón ahí, pero fue un hit y me siento bien contento.
¿Y qué me dices del próximo duelo, Kirchner contra Fausto?
Nada, mañana vamos a practicar, a cogerlos tranquilos y vamos a ver lo que pasa.
Gracias, man.
What's the best part about going back to Fenway now and bringing the series home?
Hey, that's where the magic happened. So we're going back to B-Town, and that's it. Yeah.
How loud do you think the fans are going to be there? I mean, you know, you bring it back to get.
I don't know. We gotta wait. We gotta wait and see.
How confident are you in your team, Manny?
Hey, it's no pressure here. We got confidence. You know, we go and play hard, and that's it.
These fans love to get on you. They got the towels, little booze for you. How satisfying is it to silence that crowd?
Hey, I don't care about that. I play my game and I move on.
Man, what'd you say to the umpire after the ball hit the top of the wall?
Nothing. I thought it was a home run. That was it.
What did he say to you?
I don't know.
Well, you looked like you were pretty hot.
Nah, I'm not hot. I was fine.
Manny, how nice to see guys like...
Let's wait for that game. Tomorrow we're just going to go and practice and enjoy it, and that's it.
Do you think the ball was gone as soon as you hit
Yeah, but it was a single. I'm happy.
How nice to see guys like Pedroia and you getting on base, setting you guys up to drive them in.
Oh, it's good, man. They're going to come through. You know, it's no pressure.
Man.
It's all good.
It's all good. I wish I could be like that.
Oh, you know.
But it is what, you know, and we talked about this, and what everybody was in an uproar about yesterday is what makes him such a great hitter. And you've talked about this a million times over the years. It's the fact that 5 for 6 or 5 for 40, when he gets up, it doesn't matter, and he's got no memory, and that's what makes him a great hitter.
Well, he's unique in many, many ways, Tom, and he's certainly a player in Red Sox history that I'm not going to forget. You know, I don't know how much longer he's going to be here, but I got to tell you, it's been fun covering him for all this time, but the best part about it is watching him hit. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he's one of the top hitters to ever play in this game, especially right-handed hitters. And, I mean, what you see here with Manny, you know, doing these interviews, I mean, that's Manny. That is him. And if you spend a little time around him, that's exactly how he approaches everything. He's getting a little, I don't know why so much all of a sudden. I don't know what's gotten into him about, you know, all these interviews that he's doing right now. But that's him. I mean, when you see him on the plane, you see him in the clubhouse, that is Manny Ramirez.
And he truly is harmless. I mean,
Oh,
he
he's-
is.
he's-
You know, you can't take whatever he says, whatever. I'll tell you what, Sabathia, he's scared to death of him. I mean, you're talking about hitting 650 off him, and he almost went deep again. I mean, he's wishing he'd never face him again in the rest of his life.
How'd you like to make $20 million a year and not have a care in the world and live life like Manny Ramirez? I'd take that anytime, huh?
I'm tight right now, and I'm not playing anymore. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Well, we'll see how it all comes down on Saturday night. They do shift it back to Boston with the win, and we'll see how the Indians handle that now, a young Indians team, as they come to Fenway Park on Saturday. Bruins took the ice tonight. As you can see, a tough affair against the Tampa Bay Lightning. Hazel May with the highlights of an opening night win for the Black and Gold.
Hi, Dad. Did I miss anything?
Should be starting any minute.
for the Red Sox.
Well, it's certainly been exciting and a lot of late nights. And now we're in the final days of the season.
Elliot, what's going on with the monster deal?
Well, we're all cheering for the Sox to win, and I'm sure many of you, nearly 30,000, are waiting to cash in on the monster deal. So keep rooting and cheering and praying. Wear your Sox stuff and sing Tessie to your best friend and do just whatever it takes. Go Sox!
Bring your family to visit a standardbred horse farm on Open Farm Day, Sunday, October 21st, from noon to 4 at farms across Maine. Learn about the horses of harness racing, life on a horse farm, and meet the horses close up and their owners who train and care for them. Enjoy complimentary cider and apples.
Bring your kids to visit a standardbred horse farm, Sunday, October 21st.
Have it all. With the Time Warner Cable All the Best package. Roadrunner high-speed online, digital cable, and digital phone. It's the power to go anywhere, learn everything, and share experiences with people just like you. Time Warner Cable, the power of you.
Extra Innings Extra is brought to you by Granite City Electric. Nobody knows lighting or electricians like Granite City Electric.
Well, they didn't clinch it in Cleveland, and now, thanks to Josh Beckett, it moves back to Boston. The Sox are coming back to town. Saturday night is Game 6 as they try to even up this best-of-7 series. They win tonight. Finals go over the final time, 7-1. For Dennis Eggersley, Jerry Remy, and all of us here at NESN, thanks so much for watching. We will see you at 5:30, nice and early, 5:30 Saturday night before Game 6. Hazel May, we'll see you right now. Sports Desk is next.
Josh Beckett, Red Sox Nation turned its lonely eyes to you, and you delivered. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Sports Desk, presented by FW Webb, home of Frank Webb's Bath Centers, a trusted part of your home remodeling team. Let's go to Game 5 of the ALCS. There have only been 10 teams in baseball history to come back from a 3-1 deficit, and the 2007 Red Sox want to be number 11. The Sox had a big game pitcher on the mound to begin the comeback. Putting aside all the talk about whether he should have gone on short rest for Game 4, the focus was all about surviving. Beckett has been lights out in this postseason and continued that trend just when the Sox needed him the most. Fasten your seatbelts, everybody. Here we go. Do or die at the Jake. What a matchup. Beckett looking to keep the Sox series hopes alive, but it won't be easy. That's because Cleveland's putting their ace on the table. CC Sabathia with a chance to close out the local 9 for good. But the Sox waste no time in this one. First inning, Kevin Youkilis at the dish. 1-0 pitch. Absolutely crushes a fastball way to left. Solo jobby. What a way to set the tone here. It's Uke's third homer of the playoffs. And for the first time in the series, the Sox get on the board first, 1-0. Boston looking for more after a Manny Ramirez double. Up comes Mike Lowell, and he'll just reach for this one. That's a single into shallow right. Manny getting the green light. Franklin Gutierrez comes up throwing. Manny is, well, let's just say he's done like dinner. Sox blowing another opportunity, but get their ace an early lead. Speaking of Beckett, the right-hander looking to make it 3 for 3 and starts this postseason, but the Tribe with other ideas. Of course, it's got to be Grady Sizemore. Leading off, little bloop action to left. 3 Sox in pursuit, and none of them come up with the goods. Sizemore in there with a double. As Drupal Cabrera would single to put runners on the corners for Travis Hafner. Good news, Beckett inducing Cronk into an easy 6-3 double play. The bad news, Sizemore does score, and we're tied at 1s. To the third inning we go. Sox get back after Sabathia. Man on for Manny. You know, it's always an adventure for Manny, and he is all over this pitch. Sizemore going back to the wall. It's high, it's deep, and gone? Well, the Indians play the carom. David Ortiz chugging all the way around from first. He's in safely with 1 run, but the Sox dugout and Ramirez arguing it was actually a home run. Was it? Take another look. Now remember, yellow line on the fence does not mark a homer. The ball has to travel beyond the fence itself. Very, very close. You can see a bit of the ricochet off the top of the yellow there. Really tough. The umps